be confusing. Probably. Am I gonna do it anyway? Yes. The end of the first 9 weeks. Doing anything else is just borderline unethical. But what if I just stop doing whole class instruction? What if? Good morning. I have 1, 2, 3 beverages with me today. So I have coffee, water, and my protein drink because I went to the gym this morning. I feel great. Actually, I am so tired. It's unbelievable. And then on top of that, I left my camera at home somehow. So we're on my phone today. Okay. This is just a mess. I know I need to make copies because I didn't do that on Friday. So I need to make copies for today and I need to clean this space up. Pretty sure my slides are done, but I'll double check. Made it to the end of the day. Another crazy day, but I have my to-do list, so I'm going to check it all off, or try to, during conference. Yeah, today I taught parallel and perpendicular slopes, and I foolishly tried to do an explore activity with them, like an investigative activity where it was basically just having them draw all these different lines and find the equations, and then like come to their own conclusions about what slopes create parallel lines and what slopes create perpendicular lines. I don't know why I thought they could handle that. It ended up taking like over an hour in all of my classes. And I don't think it's actually like resonated with them at all. They just had to plot points. They weren't even graphing like an equation. It was just like plot a point at 0, 2, and then at 3, 5. And then use a ruler to draw a line through both. And then from there you can find the slopes. And they didn't know where to plot anything. And I'm like, that's the kind of gaps that I'm working with, where it's like, how do you expect me to teach them algebra when they have essentially a middle school 3 years worth level of gaps, it feels like. And I'm not blaming previous teachers at all. They can't build on knowledge that they don't have. So it's frustrating. So I really should not have done that. Lesson learned. Don't do that, because it was just a waste of time. It was a really good resource, and I mean, like, in theory, I'm glad that I did it because it would have been really cool. So yeah, it's 5:10. Didn't do great today in terms of leaving on time, and I really have no excuse. During my conference they did, my master teacher or instructional coach and department head pulled me and the other new teacher aside and just kind of, because they've done walkthroughs today, and so they were just kind of giving us some glows and grows. So that was cool. Lots of good feedback. But that didn't take that long. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just been weird planning. Like, we're at the end of the 9 weeks. We're starting a new 9 weeks. And it's just weird. I'll be honest. So tomorrow, back on that 4:30 grind. Not staying here until 5. Except on Wednesdays. So this week was supposed to be the week that I got back on my workout schedule routine thing. I did not. Yesterday, however, I did. I went and I worked out and it was great. And I am sore, very, very sore from it. But today, my alarm went off and I was like, ugh, I'm so tired. Didn't mean to, but went back to sleep. And then, not only did I just go back to sleep for, a little bit, I slept up until it was basically time to go. So, love that for me. Okay, yesterday I left, not in a rush, but just like kind of scatterbrained because I had wanted to get a few things printed, but the printer is out of toner, so I couldn't do that. And then this morning it's still out of toner, so I had to walk all the way to the other workroom. Anyway, it's not important. Right now, I am just making sure that my slides for today are good because I had a foldable that I did not have a digital copy of. Like, I just had the printout that my coworker gave me, so I had to scan that in through the printer and send it to myself. So I did that, so now I can add it to my slides. Today should be fine. It's just more parallel perpendicular lines. They did kind of okay yesterday in terms of like understanding it. I definitely should not have done the Explorer with certain classes, but I'm hoping that today can really just like cement it, because I'm not teaching them anything new today. It's just more of what we did yesterday, just more practice. And I'm going to attempt to pull small groups, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm scared, but it's fine. Oh, I updated the math joke of the week. This week it is, what do you call two L's? Let me know in the comments. I'll try really hard to remember to tell you all the answer later. Hello, it's the end of the day. First of all, I just want to show you my shirt. It says Fit Check for my napalm era. It is Mira from K-Pop Demon Hunters. The number of students that have come up to me and been like, oh, Miss, you play Fortnite? They're from Fortnite. The disrespect on my girl. She's not from Fortnite. Anyway, that was just random, but I thought I would share if any of you care. Today, honestly, went fine. It was pretty good. I did a very short, recap lesson, basically, on parallel and perpendicular lines that took, maybe 15 minutes. And then I had everyone else working on a worksheet that was kind of more aligned with yesterday's lesson. And then I called them up in groups of 3 to teach them, or basically to practice more of what we did today. And I really liked that because I got to see each student for an equal amount of time, and it was very obvious who got it and who doesn't. Because when I do whole class stuff and I'm walking around, I know who has it and who doesn't, but seeing them it was basically one-on-one. I mean, they're right here, and I was able to get the ones who don't really talk as much. I got to talk with them more, so I definitely really enjoyed getting to do the small group. The rest of the class was pretty chaotic, but it's fine. But y'all, this is probably crazy and unrealistic, but what if I just stopped doing whole class instruction? What if, okay, I just stopped doing whole class instruction and I just did only small group instruction? That's crazy, right? That's crazy. But I think I might try it. I know I had a coworker at my previous school that taught 6th grade, and she didn't do whole class instruction ever. She just did small groups, to where every single day they came in and essentially had stations every single day. And I fear, one, if I try that, it's going to completely throw off the routine that I have set. And so if it doesn't work, it's going to be really difficult to go back to the routine that I set because I'm switching things up. And 2, because it hasn't been routine, it's going to be another learning curve of, taking the time to figure out what they need, what the expectations are and stuff. And 3, it's a lot of prep work, like a lot of prep work. But basically what I'm thinking is having groups of between 4 and 6. And I think 3 to 4 stations would work. If I made each station 20 minutes, that should work. And I think 20 minutes should be enough time for me to do a small group lesson. But when I'm working with my small group, no one else can ask me questions. But here's what I'm thinking. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Group 1, or station 1, is obviously direct teach with me. And I just have them all in a group, teach them the lesson, they do the foldable, the worksheet, whatever it is. Group 2 is Delta Math, which is just like our online platform for math practice. Very easy. They already know how to do that. And then groups 3 and 4 could be pretty simple, just like extensions of the lesson. Like one could be an assignment on Canvas, and the other could be a worksheet assignment. In theory, that should work perfectly. But will it? Probably not. That's just a lot of management. And like I said, a lot of prep, because these kids can't do anything on their own. Like they can't read instructions, they can't problem solve at all. So if they are slightly confused on what to do, they just won't even try. So that is screaming at me, like that's the big obvious red flag, don't do it. But I really want to. Because I am getting sick of teaching the whole group and have half of them either sleep through it or just not pay attention, and then have to go around and basically reteach over and over and over again. So if it's small group, I can have more control over, you know what I mean? Like I can make sure that they're engaged. I would not do any sort of partner work in the beginning. Like it would all be independent. So I would have to make sure that whatever I assign is easy enough skills and a familiar way, have it be a pixel art, because we've done pixel arts in class, or have it be just a worksheet similar to worksheets that we've done in class. Everything would have to be familiar since we're trying a new class structure. So everything would have to be familiar for the first few days before I could actually start branching out. That's a total overhaul of my class. I don't know if I should do it. I'm going to think about it. I'm definitely going to think about it. But I just think I would like it better. So today during my conference, I need to put in a few grades and organize, clean up. Y'all, I lost a computer. How? How did I lose a whole computer? Because I was given 2 at the beginning of the year, and now I can only find 1. And I don't want to get in trouble for that, because I don't know where it went. Either a student took it when they were borrowing it from me and they just took it on accident or on purpose, who knows. Or on one of the days that I had a sub, maybe they moved it. But I only have the one, and I don't know where the other one is. And also, this is embarrassing. Okay, I'm being very vulnerable showing you guys this. Look at the state of my... I'm not even going to open the other side because you get the idea. It's in shambles. Oh, it stresses me out. That just stresses me out to even look at it. So I do definitely want to clean that at some point. I don't know when I'm going to do that though. I'm just so tired. But today was fine. Honestly, it was a good day. Which is probably why I'm enthusiastic about trying something new. Oh gosh. I want to hear your thoughts. Have y'all completely changed the way you do class in the middle of the year, and was it successful? And if so, do you have tips? Because I'm like pretty serious about wanting to try this, and I'm scared. So, advice welcome. Okay, so it is now 4:27, so I'm going to head on home. I don't know how OneDrive works. Oh, it works. Okay. LOL. Anyway, so I have decided, after doing a little bit more thinking, it doesn't make sense for me to start what I was talking about with like the groups this week, or honestly even next week. So I'm just going to continue business as usual for now, because tomorrow we're doing kind of like a quiz. It's going to be an open note quiz that will replace their lowest assessment score, because I have a lot of very low assessment scores. And then just kind of like another review of everything that we've been doing. And then Thursday, instead of moving on to linear regression or correlation causation, I'm going to push that to next week. It's because we have time. Next week is also the PSAT, so next week is just going to be weird, which is why I don't want to start the groups thing next week. But on Thursday, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I think I want to do some sort of, I want to integrate star released questions, because they really just do not, I don't expose them enough to star questions, so they don't know how to like read them yet. Well, I mean, they should from previous years, because they've been doing star questions forever, but still, repetition is key. So I think I'm going to do, they're going to have a little quiz tomorrow and then a packet. And then on Thursday, it'll be like, if there's anything that you need to do, because it's the end of the 9 weeks, do it. And then I'm going to have probably not a very long assignment, probably a kind of short assignment. And then I think I'm also going to try and find something fun for them to do. Ooh, I could do, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the plotting coordinate points, and it like makes a shape. I have one that is a pumpkin, and I think I'm going to have them do that and then tell me the slope of each line. Oh, that's perfect, because it's already pretty points. Kind of a fun way to end off the first 9 weeks is we'll do something kind of fun. So that's exciting. Yay. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm done for the day. I'm getting out of here. Overall, today was like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Not bad. Wow. Long time no see, for me at least. Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. Happy Wednesday. Today's been crazy. Like I got here at like 7:30 for tutorials, and I had students like immediately waiting for me, which is great. So I got to work with some students this morning. And then during PLC, we had to go to a PSAT training, because we are administering the PSAT next week. And that took the entire first period, like up until the bell. So I wasn't even like ready for class when class started, but it's fine. Today I did a little warm up with the kids. I gave them 45 minutes to do an open note quiz. 45 minutes, open note quiz. And I was like, this can replace your lowest assessment grade. They have 3 or 4 assessment grades in I think it's 4. They have 4 assessment grades for this 9 weeks. And some of them, it's really, really low. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. It's open note. It should be easy for you to get a high grade on it and replace that lowest grade. You know how many kids just slept through it? Which is so disheartening, because I'm like, I didn't have to do that. I could have made it for a real grade, or I could have just not done it at all. But I decided to make it to where it doesn't hurt you, it can only help you. And they still don't care. But today is when I'm finalizing grades, so I have a lot of students coming to tutorials after school. It's my long day. I'll be here till 5. And it is just crazy, because I've had a lot of kids like really confused that they're still failing, and they're like, but I turned in all my stuff. And the stuff that they're referring to is stuff that I wasn't even grading. It was just like classwork that they didn't finish during class. So they did it and turned it in. And I'm like, that's good, but like that wasn't a grade. Like the way I do my grading is you get daily participation grades and that goes in the grade book. So like you already either got credit or didn't get credit for that assignment the day of. I don't know what to tell you. So I had a lot of students really upset about that. And then I had a lot of students that were confused. They didn't know they could do test corrections. And I was like, that's crazy considering the fact that I've only been saying it every day, multiple times a day for the past 2 weeks. Crazy. I have been thinking a lot more about what I talked about yesterday, which was doing like stations every day. And so I thought more about it and I realized that, so I think I said I couldn't do it next week because next week's PSAT and it's a short week, so like not worth it. Well, the week after that, we have 1 lesson, maybe 2 lessons, and then it's just review and a test. So I'm like, that's also a terrible time to start something new. So I'm going to wait until the end of October, the last week of October, which is also my birthday week, and try to start it then. So it's going to be interesting because I'm going to be starting this on my birthday, and I just feel like it might not go great, but I'm being optimistic about it. And I basically am doing it, I'm modeling it after the teacher that I talked about yesterday from my last school. She called them math stations. So it was meet the teacher, at your seat, technology, and hands-on activity. I'm going to try and make it to where you go to each station every day, or at least like keep up with, I don't know exactly. It's still a work in progress. But instead of having math stations, I'm having Atom stations because it's going to be ADMS because that's atoms just without the A in the middle. And it's going to be at your seat, which is when they're working on the, what is it? Okay, so the at your seat is going to be the Canvas assignment. They're just going to check Canvas and it's going to tell them what to do. So I need to, that's part of the prep work that I have to do for it. D is Delta Math. M is meet the teacher. And then S is show your work, which is I'm going to make them a weekly packet that they have to do. And that's just what they're going to work on each day on that packet. Then they turn it in at the end of the week. So a lot of prep work. But I really do think that even if the other stations don't work out, just doing the small group instruction is going to help my students so much because so many of them are just not getting the level of instruction that they need in the whole group setting, and there's just too many of them for me to get to all of them in a realistic way. Like I do, but like I don't. So I really do think that teaching in a group of 4 to 6 kids is going to be much better. But that means instead of teaching the same lesson 3 times, I'm now going to be teaching it 12 times. So we'll see. This might be something that I just do a few times a week instead of every single day, but is it crazy? It's kind of crazy. But let me show you what I'm thinking. So this is like the slide. I'm going to have to do a whole new seating chart to make the stations work. But basically, this is just going to be like the intro where I explain what each different station is. So that's A, D, M, S. So the first day, I don't think I'm actually going to do full-blown stations. I might, who knows. But it'll probably be more of like a trial run, and then Tuesdays when I want to start it for real. So this is what my new daily slide is going to look like. I still have the date and my reminders over here. But then, as you can see, I have my different groups. And then this is going to be for my second period, third period, fourth period. So they'll know, you know, that way I don't have to create 3 different slides for each of my classes. Will it be confusing? Probably. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes. Because you know what? You never know till you try, you know? So I'm shooting for the moon. And honestly, the kids do surprise me. pretty often with how well they do. Like I'll be planning something, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be terrible, and then they do fine, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have a little bit more faith in them. So you know what? Maybe this will be fine, because that would be like super convenient. Okay, so I changed my slide just a little bit. I tweaked it, and I want to show you. I found the other background, like this background was just way too busy and it kind of hurt my eyes sometimes, so I changed it to this much more subdued plaid background, and then I was able to make my table a little bit bigger. And then now I do have a little bit of space right here if I need to put anything there, but I think I kind of want to just leave it as basic as possible. And then the rest of my slides for the week are going to be the same way that I've done them. So it'll still be like the foldable, the notes, all of that stuff. I'll just do them multiple times in a class. And there might be some days where I, like depending on the lesson, I might not have like a teacher station and just do a whole class teach, and that be like one of the stations, and then have them do the other stations or something like that. Like I've got to play around with it. I really don't know what's going to work for me and what's going to work for the kids, so we shall see. And I will of course let you guys know how it goes, but it won't be for a few weeks, so don't hold your breath. I just spent so long putting in grades for the quiz that they just took, and then I realized that the quiz did not grade itself correctly. There were 3 questions that I needed to grade by hand, and I didn't realize that. So I went through and regraded them, and it changed the scores so much. So I have to go back and redo that whole thing. It's 5:20. Tutorials was so draining. I had so many kids in here, and it just breaks my heart because we're at the 9 weeks, so this affects UIL eligibility, and it's just, a report card. It's a quarter of their grade, and I gave them an extra credit assignment. I gave them for a daily grade, and then I gave them another extra credit assignment that could replace a test grade. They have a free homework pass, which is basically a daily grade pass, for free in their agenda that they can use in my class, and 5 bonus points on a test for their agenda. I did all of that. I gave them 2.5 weeks to do test corrections, which all they have to do is work through the problems. They can get up to a 70. Their assignments are the same every single week. It just makes me so furious that I make it so easy and then they still don't do it. But what makes me really furious is my reaction to it, because it's like I almost caved and bumped these kids' grades up, but it's like I've already bumped them. I've already bumped them up with all these extra credit assignments. Doing anything else is just borderline unethical. And it just makes me want to shake them and be like, this is why I've been fighting you all 9 weeks. This is why I've been pushing you. This is why I've been pestering you to get your grade up. Because you can't just fix it. You can't get 20 points on the last day of the 9 weeks. There's no way that you can bump your grade that much. And I had several people today bump it quite a lot because of the extra credit assessment grade. So some of them bumped up 15 points, 10 points. Some of them didn't. And I'm just like, and it's especially annoying the ones that failed at the 6 weeks. They lost UIL eligibility. And I told them, they were really upset about it, and I told them, hey, this is what you have to do to gain it back. This is what you have to do to pass. And I think they just expected me to pass them because they did nothing. And now I'm over here feeling so incredibly guilty because I'm like, oh, it's a few points. Should I just give it to them? And I'm doubting myself and second guessing myself, I can bump a 67 to a 70. I could bump, maybe if I give him this extra credit assignment, I can bump a 62 to a 70. And it's like, what am I talking about? No. It would be one thing if my class was like really hard and everything was accuracy grades and there was no extra credit. Like, that would be one thing. But I've already given them so many chances, so much extra credit. Like, I have honestly bent over backwards to get these kids passing. So the ones that aren't passing, they're not passing because they don't care. That's the end of the line. They have not cared enough to get their grade up, and they only care now that there's consequences. But it's still heartbreaking to sit here and have a kid beg me for any extra work that they can do so that they can keep playing soccer or football. And I'm just like, there's not. If you had come to my tutorials last week, oh yeah, we could have got this done. You could have had a week to do all this stuff. But grades are due today. What did you think was going to happen? This is a tested subject they need to graduate. I can't just pass them for the sake of passing them. Like, I can't do that anymore. And also, I know the level of rigor and expectations that other teachers at this school have. So I'm not the bad guy for matching that. I'm not even matching it. Oh my gosh. My class is so easy. If I would have had my class in high school, dude, oh my gosh. My class is like my dream class from high school because it's the same expectations every week. You get a participation grade. Hello, easiest 100 of my life. That's every single week. So that's 9 participation grades. Are you kidding me? And then 9 warm-up grades. Are you kidding me? It's the same format every week, and it's completion. And I didn't even take 9, I don't think, because I didn't do it the first week. I don't know. I have a lot of grades in the grade book. But, and test corrections, like, it's not a retest. They're test corrections. You use your notes. You ask a friend. You ask me. We get the right answer. You explain where you went wrong. 70. And they're coming in, bringing papers from class. They're like, oh, I finished it. Can I turn this in? Will it help my grade? And I'm like, first of all, I'm not even putting that in the grade book. Second of all, you really think that an assignment that we did as a class is going to give you 15 points? No. When you have as many grades in the grade book as I do, daily grades really aren't that big of a deal, I'll be honest. And that's what I told them all week and all last week and the week before that. I've been telling them, if you want to pass, do test corrections. Focus on your test corrections. The daily grades are important, but at this point, they're not going to save you anymore. The only thing that can save you is your test corrections. And in one of my classes, the average on that test is a 65, even after 7 did test corrections. In one of my other classes, it's a 49. And then in my other class, the average is a 45. So you can kind of guess how many kids actually did the test corrections. And I'm just torn up about it because I'm like, it would be one thing if they actually saw this as a lesson and learned from it and changed. But I don't know if they will. Like, it's a hard lesson to fail and to get kicked out of sports or just be benched for 3 weeks. But is it a lesson or is it just, oh, I just have to deal with this and then I can, I don't know. Yeah, it's 5:30. I gotta go. But tomorrow's Thursday, the last day of school this week because we have Friday off. Praise the Lord. Do you like my shirt? Do math, not magic. Show your work. I like it. I thought it was cute. I've had a lot of compliments on it today too. But another thing that I was doing while kids were testing and stuff is I have been trying to come up with the groups that I'm going to be putting them in for stations in 3 weeks, and I'm doing it based off of their test scores. Loosely based off of test scores, and then I'm tweaking it. So like I'm going to do the first one with ability level, because it's not going to be very much like working together. When they can work together, I like to have kind of mixed ability so that stronger students can help weaker students and stuff like that. But since most of what we're going to be doing is just like they're going to be doing things on their own, the only time that they're going to be collaborating with their team is when I'm teaching them, and it's just so much easier to teach kids that are all on the same level. So I'm loosely basing them off of their test score, and then I'm making adjustments for like the students that I know will get it, they just tested poorly, or that have grown a lot since that test, or for behavior reasons. Just in case I forget tomorrow, I'm going to tell you the answer to the joke of the week today. So if you forgot, the joke of the week was, what do you call two L's? And the majority of my classes have actually guessed it and gotten it right, so I'm very proud of them. The answer is a parallel. Get it? Like a pair of L's? Parallel? It worked because we were doing parallel and perpendicular today. Anyway, that's so lame of me, but they like it. I love when I get like like a dad joke type of deal. It's prime. Good morning. Happy Thursday. But basically happy Friday, because we don't have school tomorrow, so the end of the week for me. Thrilled about that. Very excited to have the day off. And then next week, Monday is a PD day, so there's no students, and we're just going to like 6 different PD sessions. I was kind of hoping that we would have time to just like work in our classrooms, like a work day, so I can get some more like planning stuff done, but that is okay. I'm actually looking forward to some of the sessions. There's three that I have to go to because I'm a math teacher. Since it is the end of the 9 weeks, I got here at like 7:55 because I woke up this morning and I was just so tired. Oh my gosh, I was so tired that I just stayed in bed until 7, and I normally leave at 7:10. But today I left at like 7:30. So, no regrets, because I don't really have anything to do this morning, prep-wise, and I don't have tutorials, no one's coming to check on me, so it is what it is. The only thing that I want to do is find a Cartesian grid pumpkin. Made it to the end of the day, the end of the first 9 weeks. I cannot believe this is the fastest first 9 weeks I've ever experienced, and I really don't know why that is. I'm not complaining whatsoever, but I mean, I think it's been overall, I would say, a pretty good 9 weeks compared to my previous experiences. However, obviously it came with its own hardships, but today was good. It was a chill day. I had what I call my coffee shop vibe, which is I just put on music and everyone is working like kind of quietly. They can move and sit wherever they want, but they were working on this packet of like review stuff so that I could finish getting my grades in. I am finalizing grades right now. I know I told everyone that I was going to finalize them yesterday, but I always say that, and then I finalize them at the last minute anyway, just because I don't want them to think that they can turn things in at 4 p.m. on Thursday. I want everything done. That way I get a full day to finalize grades. I've also come up with my groups for when I do eventually start doing stations, so I'm good there. And I'm going to put a pause, I think, on planning out stations any further because I'm not actually starting them until the next unit. And I don't even know, I think the next unit is systems of equations, and I don't know what that's going to look like. So I'm just going to pause that and focus on next week and the week after. So not too much there. Honestly, I basically have next week mentally planned. I just need to make all my copies and finish my slides. And then the week after that is literally one lesson and then review and a test. I don't know how evaluations go for you guys, but we have just finished the first 9 weeks and I have not had a single walkthrough from my evaluator. My evaluator hasn't even like come by, which I'm like fine, I'm not complaining about it necessarily, but at my previous campus, we were like scheduling final evaluations for October, November. Like they got it out of the way fast. So it's been very shocking to not even have a walkthrough done. But I'm very grateful for that because I still am not quite where I want to be in terms of like being evaluated. So I am glad, but I'm just curious, like those of you who teach and who teach in Texas specifically, I don't know how other states do it, but in Texas specifically, you have to have like 3 walkthroughs and a formal evaluation. When do your walkthroughs start? Like, when are you usually having your evaluation? I am so curious.